Joining us tonight, Senator Luther Strange, member of the Senate Budget and Armed Services Committees. Senator, good to have you with us. 3 weeks to go, and you think it's a bad idea, but the GOP in the Senate looks committed to going on recess and the hell with whatever they're doing on health care.
I just can't believe it. I've joined with a group of my colleagues and sent a letter to the leadership, and we're going to have a press conference about it tomorrow, and I'm going to talk about it. Until then, that we need to stay here until we get our work done. Can you imagine anybody else in the country taking 4 weeks off when they have their business literally on fire and say, we'll come back later and check on it?
I can't imagine anybody who's been in the Senate since 1985, as has Mitch McConnell, the majority leader, and not understand what to have done about and have ready for a vote health care legislation after leading since 2010 the opposition to it. I mean, it doesn't make a lick of sense. You all have to be terribly worried about the quality of your leadership.
Well, I'm very frustrated with our whole group in not being able to come to a resolution. I mean, we're all responsible for this. Each one of us has a vote. But, you know, I spent 6 years suing the Obama administration and listening to the Senate and the House say we're going to repeal and replace it if we just had control. And so when I arrived here taking my friend Jeff Sessions' place, I looked around for the bill and I said, well, this should be easy. We'll check that off right away. Lo and behold, we don't have it. So
are you going to? What do you think is going to happen here, Senator? I mean, the GOP look like damn fools. I mean, let's be honest about it. You got Speaker Ryan leading the House, and that is a disaster. Did they get a bill passed? Yes, but it's got to go to conference. The Senate, again, they're just such a sense of irresponsibility and lack of direction. While you've got a man in the White House who's focused, who is working his tail off. I mean, if the Senate and the House had a third of the work ethic of President Trump, you could get all sorts of things done.
Boy, you're not kidding. That was my first reaction, was if we just get the Senate to work as hard as President Trump is working, that'd be a great start. You know, think about what we could get done there. I think, Lou, you put your finger on it, though. One of the things that may make the difference here is the president's personal involvement. You know, he ultimately has the great talent in getting people together to get to an end goal. And I certainly
would you like to have that job, bringing Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan together? I mean, you talk about fellas who just don't really, I mean, they can't hear the signals or the count.
Well, I'll tell you this. I certainly heard the signals loud and clear. The people of Alabama have a lot of common sense. And when they ask you to do something, they expect you to do it, especially when you promise to do it. And the fact that we're not getting anything done is not going over well. Can you imagine what would happen if we came home in August and said, we'll get around to it later? That's not going to go over well at all.
Well, I would think that would be apparent to your leadership. Apparently it is not. Senator Luther Strange, good to have you with us. Appreciate it as always.
We're going to work hard. Thanks again for having me on.
Thanks, Senator.